The envelope hit the table with a sharp slap that silenced the entire room. 30 guests, mid-laughter, frozen with champagne glasses raised. Pink and blue streamers hung motionless above their heads as Sarah's trembling fingers reached for the white packet her husband had just thrown down. "Open it," Marcus said, his voice cold as winter frost. "Since you love surprises so much." The paper crinkled in the sudden quiet. Sarah's eyes scanned the bold letters at the top, "Petition for dissolution of marriage." The champagne glass slipped from her other hand, shattering against the marble floor. But before we get to what happened next, before the screaming, the revelations, and the truth that would destroy everything, let's go back 3 months. Back when Sarah still believed in forever. Sarah had been folding tiny onesies in the nursery when Marcus first started pulling away. The soft yellow walls caught the afternoon sun as she hummed, arranging miniature socks in the dresser drawer. They'd been married 3 years, together for 5, and this baby was their dream finally coming true. Working late again, she'd asked when he called that Tuesday evening. Big project. Don't wait up. She'd hung up with that familiar knot forming in her stomach. The 3rd time this week. The 8th time this month. But she pushed the worry down, rubbed her growing belly, and whispered to the baby, "Daddy's just stressed about becoming a father. It's normal." Her best friend Mia had been there through it all. Every appointment Marcus missed, every dinner that went cold, Mia showed up with ice cream and reassurance. "Men get weird about pregnancy," Mia said one night, painting Sarah's toenails since she could no longer reach them herself. "They feel the pressure." Maybe he feels trapped. Trapped? Sarah's voice cracked. "We planned this baby for 2 years. I know, honey. I'm just saying, sometimes people change their minds." Sarah stared at her friend's perfectly manicured hands, something twisting in her chest. "Marcus loves me. He loves this baby." "Of course he does," Mia said quickly. Too quickly. "I didn't mean anything by it. But the seed was planted." Sarah started noticing everything. How Marcus turned away when she reached for him in bed, how he kept his phone face down during dinner, how he'd stopped asking about doctor's appointments. "Can we talk?" Sarah tried one evening, catching him as he headed for his study. "I'm exhausted, Sarah." "You're always exhausted. I'm 7 months pregnant, and you haven't touched me in weeks." "Not everything is about you," he snapped, then immediately softened. "I'm sorry. Work is just work. Right." She turned away, tears burning her eyes. "Maybe you should sleep in the guest room if you're so tired." He did. And he never came back to their bed. The baby shower had been Mia's idea. "You need this," she'd insisted, handling every detail. "Something beautiful to remind Marcus what you're building together." Sarah had worn the white dress with tiny flowers that Marcus bought her on their honeymoon in Greece. She'd curled her hair the way he liked. She'd even worn the perfume from their first date, desperate to remind him of who they used to be. The party was perfect. Her mother's laughter filled the room. Her sister had flown in from Seattle. Even Marcus's parents were there, his mother cooing over the handmade blanket she'd knitted. When Sarah stood to give her speech, she felt hope for the first time in weeks. Marcus was there, wearing the blue shirt she'd bought him last Christmas. Maybe this would fix everything. "I want to thank you all for being here," she began, one hand on her belly. "This journey hasn't been easy, but having your support means everything." And Marcus, she looked at him, pouring every ounce of love into her smile. "You've been my rock, my best friend, my reason to believe in tomorrow. I can't wait to see you become a father." The room erupted in "us" and applause. Then Marcus stood. "Actually, I have something to say too." Sarah's heart soared. Finally. Finally, he was going to be the man she married again. He reached into his jacket pocket and pulled out the envelope. "What's this?" Sarah laughed nervously. Open it. Since you love surprises so much. The way he said it, cold, cruel, nothing like the man who'd held her through her father's death or surprised her with puppies on their anniversary, made her hands shake as she tore open the seal. I don't understand, she whispered, staring at the divorce papers. Don't play dumb, Marcus said loudly, ensuring everyone heard. I know about him. I have proof. What? Who? Marcus, what are you talking about? He pulled out his phone, swiping to screenshots. These. Your messages to your lover. Planning to leave me after the baby's born. Using me for financial security while you screw around behind my back. Sarah's legs gave out. Someone caught her, maybe her sister, as the room exploded in gasps and whispers. Those aren't real, she managed to say. Marcus, would never. Stop lying. He threw the papers at her feet. Sign them. I'm done being your fool. He stormed out, leaving Sarah sobbing on the floor of her own baby shower, surrounded by torn wrapping paper and shattered dreams. The next 3 days were hell. Marcus blocked her number. Her texts bounced back. When she drove to his office, security turned her away. He doesn't want to see you, his secretary said, unable to meet Sarah's eyes. Even worse were the whispers. Half the family believed Marcus. Her mother-in-law stopped answering calls. Facebook friends she'd had since college unfollowed her. The story spread like wildfire: pregnant wife caught cheating, poor husband humiliated. Sarah spent hours staring at the screenshots Marcus had shown. The messages were explicit, planning secret meetings, calling Marcus pathetic. But something was wrong. The grammar was too perfect. Sarah never used semicolons in texts. And the timestamp on one message: she'd been in labor and delivery that day, helping her cousin give birth. These are fake, she told Mia, who'd moved in to help her through the crisis. Someone created these. Who would do that? Mia asked, but her voice sounded strange. Nervous. Sarah looked at her friend, really looked at her. The way Mia had been pushing doubts about Marcus. The way she always seemed to appear right when Marcus cancelled plans. The way she'd insisted on planning the baby shower, choosing the date when all of Marcus's family would be there. You, Sarah whispered. It was you. What? Sarah, you're being paranoid. Show me your phone. This is ridiculous. Show me your phone, Mia. The guilt on Mia's face said everything. Sarah grabbed the phone from the counter, and Mia lunged for it, but pregnancy hadn't made Sarah weak. She held it away, typing in the passcode she'd known for years: Mia's dog's birthday. There it was. An app called Text Theater. Screenshot after screenshot of fabricated conversations. And in Mia's email, sent messages to an anonymous account that Sarah recognized: Marcus's spam folder email, the one he used for online shopping. You sent him these, Sarah said, her voice deadly calm. You destroyed my marriage. You don't understand, Mia started crying. I loved him first. I introduced you too. He was supposed to be mine, but you swooped in with your perfect smile and your perfect life. I was your best friend. You were a thief. Mia screamed. You took everything. The man I loved, the life I wanted, even the baby I should have been having. Sarah hit record on her phone, placing it on the counter. Say it again. Tell me exactly what you did. Mia glared. Fine. I sent the screenshots. I made them up. You can't prove it anyway. Nobody will believe you. Maybe it was guilt, maybe it was relief, but Mia soon confessed everything. How she'd created the fake messages. How she'd been poisoning Marcus against Sarah for months, dropping hints about Sarah being secretive, about mysterious phone calls. How she'd planned the baby shower confrontation to destroy Sarah publicly, hoping Marcus would turn to her for comfort after. "I never meant for it to go this far," Mia sobbed. "I just wanted him to notice me." "Get out," Sarah said quietly. "Get out of my house before I call the police." After Mia left, Sarah sat in her nursery, staring at the recording. She could send it to Marcus immediately, but he'd blocked her everywhere. And even if she could reach him, would he believe her? Or would he think she'd forced a false confession? No. This required something bigger. If you're watching this and you've ever been falsely accused, you know the feeling, that desperate need to scream the truth while everyone covers their ears. Hit that subscribe button if you want to hear more real stories of betrayal and redemption, because what happened next changed everything. Sarah called everyone. Marcus's parents, her family, their mutual friends. She said she wanted to apologize publicly, to explain herself. She scheduled it for Sunday afternoon at her mother's house, the same place they'd had their wedding reception 4 years earlier. Marcus showed up looking haggard, unshaven, shadows under his eyes. He wouldn't look at her, just stood by the door like he might bolt any second. "Thank you all for coming," Sarah began, her voice steady. "I know you've heard things about me. Terrible things. And Marcus," she looked at him, "you believe I betrayed you." "Just get to the point," he muttered. "The point is, I have something you all need to hear." She pressed play on her phone, connected to her mother's speaker system. Mia's confession filled the room. "I created the fake messages. I've been poisoning Marcus against Sarah for months. I wanted him to notice me." The recording played for 7 minutes. 7 minutes of Mia detailing every lie, every manipulation, every calculated move to destroy their marriage. When it ended, the silence was deafening. Marcus's face had gone white. His mother covered her mouth in horror. Sarah's sister looked ready to commit murder. Marcus started, then stopped. Started again. "Sarah, Oh God, what have I done?" "You believed her," Sarah said simply. "You didn't even give me a chance to defend myself. You humiliated me in front of everyone I love, while I'm carrying your child, and you didn't even ask for my side." He crossed the room in 3 strides, reaching for her, but she stepped back. "Please," he begged, actually falling to his knees. "Please, I'm so sorry. I was insane with jealousy. The thought of losing you. You didn't lose me, Marcus. You threw me away." The room watched in stunned silence as Marcus sobbed, begging for forgiveness, promising anything, everything. Therapy, counseling, a fresh start. Sarah looked at him, this man she'd loved with every cell in her body, and felt nothing. The love wasn't gone, exactly. It was scarred over, transformed into something else. Something that could coexist with peace but never again with trust. "I'll send you ultrasound pictures," she said quietly. "You can be at the birth if you want. We'll figure out custody. But us? We're done." 3 months later, Sarah gave birth to a beautiful baby girl. Marcus was there, crying as he cut the umbilical cord. He'd been to therapy, he said. He understood what he'd done. He begged one more time for another chance. "I was so stupid," he whispered, holding their daughter for the first time. "I let jealousy and lies destroy the best thing in my life." "Yes," Sarah agreed. "You did. Is there any hope? Any at all?" Sarah looked at him holding their daughter, saw the man she'd fallen in love with buried under the man who'd betrayed her. "I forgive you, Marcus. Not for you, but for me. For her. But forgiveness doesn't mean forgetting. It doesn't mean trusting you with my heart again." He nodded, tears streaming down his face. "I understand. I'll spend the rest of my life regretting this." "I know," Sarah said softly. "And that's the punishment you gave yourself." For a long while, they just sat there in silence, watching their newborn sleep. When he finally stood to leave, he looked back at her one last time. "You're stronger than I ever gave you credit for." Sarah smiled faintly. "I had to be." After he left, she whispered to her baby, "We're going to be okay, my love. Mommy's not broken anymore." Months passed. The house felt different now, quiet but peaceful. No shouting, no tension. Just her and her baby girl, learning each other's rhythms. Marcus sees their daughter every weekend. He's a good father, present, loving, dedicated. Sometimes Sarah watches them together and remembers what they could have been. But then she remembers the humiliation, the abandonment, the willingness to believe the worst without question, and she knows she made the right choice. Mia disappeared after the truth came out. Last Sarah heard, she'd moved across the country, starting fresh where nobody knew her story. Sarah hopes she gets help and hopes she never does this to another friend. But mostly, Sarah doesn't think about her at all. The truth, Sarah learned, doesn't need defending. It's patient. It waits. And when it finally surfaces, it's more powerful than any lie could ever be. Sometimes viewers ask in the comments if she regrets not taking Marcus back. The answer is always the same: she regrets that he made the choice impossible. She regrets that their daughter will grow up in two homes. But she doesn't regret choosing herself and choosing strength. If this story resonated with you, if you've ever been falsely accused or betrayed by someone you loved, drop a comment below. Share your story. Let's heal together. And don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more real, raw stories every week. Because the truth is, we're all walking around with stories like this: heartbreak that transformed us, betrayals that defined us, and ultimately, the strength that saved us. The divorce papers were finalized 6 months after the baby was born. Sarah signed them with the same pen she'd used to sign her daughter's birth certificate, one document ending a chapter, another beginning a new story. Marcus signed them in his lawyer's office, his hands shaking so badly he had to try 3 times. "Do you ever think we could try again someday?" he asked one last time. She looked at him, her heart soft but steady. "Maybe someday. When the hurt doesn't live here anymore." He nodded, smiled sadly, and walked away. That night, Sarah sat by the window again, her baby asleep in her arms, the city lights blinking in the distance. She smiled through tears, whispering, "If you believe in second chances, maybe not for love, but for yourself, hit that like button, share this story, and tell me in the comments what you'd have done if you were me. Would you forgive? And don't forget to subscribe for more stories like this one. Because sometimes, it's the stories we survive that teach us who we really are.